Once again are not messing round. Mike Maignan, there is a contract on the table and a bid ready, but AC Milan want more for the goalkeeper, and Chelsea aren't prepared to go over 25 million euros. There is a 7-year contract on the table for Jamie Gittens, the English winger at Borussia Dortmund. What is the latest with Mohammed Kudus? Could he be on Chelsea's radar? And Chelsea are also looking to sell Christopher Nkunku for around 60 million euros, with Bayern Munich interested. We've got lots to get through. Make sure you go down, smash this like button to pieces, and let me know your thoughts on every single topic we discuss. The road to 60K is well and truly on. If you haven't already, please go down, hit that subscribe button. 90% of you who watch the content every single week, every single month, who support, are not subscribed. And we're about 300 away from 56,000. So let me know your thoughts down below. We're going to start off with Fabrizio Romano coming out with regards to Christopher Nkunku. Bayern Munich remain interested, but will not proceed in talks if Chelsea continue to demand 60 million euros. Now, I might be one of the only ones that actually really likes Nkunku. I just don't. I think sometimes you get players in their career, you get players that are just at the wrong club. I don't think what Chelsea are doing, I don't think it actually really suits him. 3 goals and 2 assists in 27 games. In the Conference League is where he did make, his best return, 8 GA in 9. And then in the League Cup, he got 3 goals in 2. In the Conference League qualifiers, he got 2 goals in 2. His record in the Chelsea shirt, in terms of 56 games and 17 goals and 5 assists, it's not horrendous. RB Leipzig is where he had his absolute best return, and his numbers were very, very good in a Leipzig shirt. It wouldn't surprise me if he went back to Germany or went to La Liga. He'd have a very, very good spell. 125 GA, is very, very good in 172 games. That's a very good return. 192 GA in 350 games throughout his career. His Bundesliga record, 90 GA in 119 is stupidly good. 16 in 31 in the Champions League. 4 in 6 in the Europa League. 8 in 9 in the Conference League. He does have a very good European record, but 60 million, for a guy that hasn't had the best of seasons, he's 27 years of age, his contract expires June 30th, 2029. I think Bayern Munich right now, of course, they've missed out on the Florian Wirtz deal. That was the one they wanted. Liverpool have put multiple bids on the table. Could Bayern Munich bring in Christopher Nkunku to play in that front line alongside Harry Kane? We know Coman and Sane are pretty much on the books to sell. They've also got Musiala there. I think he'd be a good signing for Bayern Munich. In terms of wingers, Jamie Gittens, Fabrizio Romano said this yesterday, that understand Chelsea are set to improve their proposal for Jamie Gittens. New bid is coming very, very soon. Negotiations remain ongoing with Borussia Dortmund after first bid rejected. New one shortly. 7-year deal for the winger. And he looks a top talent. He looks a very, very good talent. I don't know massive amounts about him. I'd be lying if I said I watch Borussia Dortmund week in, week out. But 11 GA in 32 games at just 20 years of age. Someone who can play on the left and someone who can play on the right. 4 goals in 14 games in the Champions League at just 20 years of age is a very good return. This season to get 12 goals, and I think this season he got 12 goals and 5 assists in 48 games at 17 is a very, very good return rate. Someone who can play on that left wing, I think if you can get him for 30 million euros, I think that's a very good deal. Mudryk probably won't be playing for Chelsea ever again. They are obviously linked with Mohammed Kudus, which we'll get into shortly, and of course Alejandro Garnacho. But I think they don't want to sign players over a certain age. I'll get rid of that advert. Get over a certain age And when you've got, already 12 goals and 5 assists in your first 48 games last season, 2,790 minutes played, I think he's going to be a very, very good addition to Chelsea. I think they should be very, very, very optimistic about that. And also, the Standard are coming out and saying that a contract has been agreed, kind of echoing what Fabrizio Romano has said. And there's a lot of people that think this deal will be done in the next couple of days. It goes on to say the Daily Mail have claimed that an improved offer for the 20-year-old will be made. Chelsea look to rack up another deal before Tuesday's evening pre-Club World Cup. Dortmund are said to be demanding around 40 million for Gittens, with 10% of a sell-on club going to former club Manchester City. That is it as well. That's why Manchester City have got Rayan Nouri, Cherki, and Tajani Reinders all done before Thursday's deadline of the Club World Cup. Now, one interesting bit of news is Chelsea are prepared to launch another bid before the Thursday's deadline for AC Milan French international 29-year-old Mike Maignan. The Blues are in the market for a new goalkeeper as they look to move the rumoured West Ham target Robert Sanchez as their number one on. Chelsea also approach a strong interest in Mike Maignan approached last week. Italian publication Gazzetta dello Sport claim a bid has been made. There was around 15 million is likely to be agreed with Milan willing to cash in on one player who's entering the final year of his contract. Now, Fabrizio Romano has said on this that he said this yesterday or the day before that Chelsea did bid 15 million euros, but he also said in another tweet that AC Milan want more money. They want to get a final answer on Maignan negotiations by the end of the Club World Cup. It's actually on Tuesday, so it's tomorrow. So this probably will drag out throughout most of today in terms of will he, won't he, will he, won't he. I think he'd be a statement signing in terms of his ability for Chelsea. They need that goalkeeper, in my opinion. Another player that is heavily, heavily linked is Mohammed Kudus. Now, this is an interesting one because according to reports internally at West Ham, they need to sell before they can buy. There's all the situation in the background of Paqueta. This was a few days ago now. The Chelsea have been offered the chance to sign West Ham forward. It's coming out from Sky Sports News saying that Chelsea have been offered the chance to sign West Ham forward Mohammed Kudus, with the Hammers inquiring about the availability of Robert Sanchez, who worked with Graham Potter at Brighton in one direction. In one direction, in the other direction. So Mohammed Kudus, I like him. I do think there's a few question marks about his inconsistency. But if you can offload, Robert Sanchez in part of this deal, I think that's really, really good business for Chelsea. You're talking about a guy that there's no doubt Kudus has definitely got ability. He's very good in the 1v1 situations. He's a creative player. He's got good levels of experience throughout his career. But if we're talking about a guy that, as of right now, you're talking about a guy that is very inconsistent. I think I've remained kind of consistent in my opinion that, Chelsea, if they're signing Gittens, the next player has to be someone with a lot more experience. Gittens is only 20 years of age. I don't think Mohammed Kudus' output is at the level Chelsea should be looking for. And I said this the same with Alejandro Garnacho. His output as well isn't what they should be looking for. They need to go for that next level of caliber up. Now, they have, of course, been looking at Hugo Ekitike, but as it stands right now, that is quite unlikely, according to Fabrizio Romano. According to Romano, they are, holding out for 100 million euros. There's club-to-club talks ongoing for Maignan. A new bid's coming soon for Gittens. Hugo Ekitike is not advancing at his 100 million euro price tag. And Fabrizio Romano has also said Nkunku leaves and Caicedo will be getting a new contract proposal. He said all of this on his YouTube video. So if they can get Maignan and Gittens done today/tomorrow, Hugo Ekitike at 100 million euros, it doesn't look like they are prepared to go in for him at that money. That's about 85 million pounds. and Christopher Nkunku leaves, Caicedo will be receiving a new contract. So Chelsea are not messing around right now. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. I'm out.